Tra-la-la-la-la-la. Tra-la-la-la-la-la. I'm the happiest boy there is.
Hello and welcome to episode 65 of Chet and John's Reassuringly Finite Gaming Playlist. My name is Chet Rovis. With me as usual is John Denton.
Hello.
Same thing as usual, 2 top 10 lists. The 10 games we've been playing over the past 7 days, number 10s are the games we played the most, number 1s are the game we played the other way, fucking around.
You've done this before.
I know. Yeah. Hello and welcome to episode 65 of Chet and John's Reassuringly Finite Gaming Playlist. My name is Chet Rovis. With me as usual is John Denton.
Hello.
Same thing as usual, 2 top 10 lists. The number 10s are the games we've been playing the least. Over the past 7 days, the number 1s are the games we've been playing the most. That is it. John, let's do it.
That is it. My number 10 is Slave of God I played it on my Mac, actually. We put out the call last week to the listeners to see if they can give us some tips for games to play. And good man Paul Walker did that. He gave us 3 games, and all 3 are on my list. But the first one is Slave of God, which it's hard to explain, right? I didn't play it for very long. It seems to be a first-person fucking nightmare. I haven't seen the Gaspar Noé film Enter the Void, but I'd imagine if there was a game of that film's more extreme scenes, this would be it. It is just I think you're walking through a club. I think that's what's happening in first person. But the whole thing is just a kaleidoscopic hellscape of colours and kind of pulsing music to the point where I've not been feeling great last few days. Bit of a headache anyway, and I was like, I can't look at this right now. So I actually want to go back to it when I'm feeling a bit better and see if I can hack it. But I can't. I'm struggle with stuff that's that intense visually anyway. So. Yeah, it seemed really interesting. He seemed to be, I'm guessing, trying to replicate the feeling of being in a club on some hideous concoction of drugs, the likes of which I've never been near. But it seemed like an interesting game, but I just couldn't hack it at this particular juncture.
I'll tell you something, that sounds fucking tremendous. So you don't even know if there's a goal. I mean, how long did you play it for?
It's literally about 20, 30 seconds, and I was like, do you know what, today I can't today. My head hurts.
Wow, I'm really wow. That's and you downloaded it on your Mac. Did you have to download it, or was it in a browser?
Yeah, you downloaded it. It's only like 20 meg or something.
Okay.
The link's on our Twitter feed, and it works on obviously it works on a Mac. So yeah, check it out.
Superb. Yeah, wow, that sounds great. Okay, my number 10 is Nova 3 on iOS. I spoke about it, I think, last week. It's the blatant rip-off of Crysis. Technically quite impressive, but, I mean, just not much fun to play. I was watching TV around a mate's house, and some film came on, and he said, I watched this last week. I can't believe they haven't been sued for ripping off something. It's the most derivative thing that's ever existed. I said, no, this is the most derivative thing that's ever existed, and I handed it over, and he played it for a bit, wasn't impressed. And I jumped into multiplayer just because, and I was actually holding my iPad like a keyboard, so I had my thumbs underneath it and I was tapping away at it like a keyboard, and do you know what, it was actually really quite fun. It really, I said last week, it does remind me of Unreal Tournament. I mean, it's skirmishes that are around power weapons and the kind of the environments that they're saying there's a lot of jumping. It really reminded me of really old school Unreal Tournament, which is not a bad thing. And it's got instant chat. I think Xbox Live Party Chat was a gift, one of the biggest gifts we've ever received, just as people who play console games, especially shooters, because it enabled us to talk without fucking getting into slanging matches with everybody. This is just a skirmish of people shouting at each other, and I kind of thought, it reminds me of the glory days of Halo 2. Just people an unbelievably squeaky young American kid calling me Harry Potter, which is standard, always happens.
Oh, they still do that?
Yeah, and they always
it's only 10 years of people doing that.
There's that, and then there's the other classic, you bloody wanker.
Oh yeah, you bloody wanker, and good day, mate.
I've never heard that.
We used to get that all the time. Yeah, YouTubers are yelling.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, there's loads of gameplay options, loads of different game types. I'm like, for a free, is it free? I don't know. I don't know. Nova 3, iOS people really rate it, and it's surprisingly functional when you actually play it as if you were playing it on a keyboard. Yes, all right.
I'll never play it.
Nope, I didn't think so.
My number 9, I'll just took very quickly. I just played a bit more Bioshock Infinite. Literally did like 20 minutes. Just played, doing my second playthrough really slowly. Nothing more to add to it. Looks glorious on PC. Seem to get this PC seems to be working for me now. I'm not having any issues with it really. So that's nice, because at first it was a fucking disaster zone. Yeah. But yeah, things are running smoothly at the moment. But I don't want to speak too soon, so it'll probably fall apart as I say it.
True. Okay, are you doing it on the hard difficulty?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to whatever DLC comes out as well, because it's nice that it's not, out already and they've held it back or something. They're clearly making something proper, and it is coming because they've done the season pass, which I didn't pay for. But yeah, I'm interested to see what they do. Definitely.
Yeah, likewise. Hopefully it's not one of those instances where they were a bit previous in putting out that pass and they don't end up, because that's happened a couple of times, hasn't it, where they didn't end up what you paid to get the pass didn't sort of end up being enough money for what you got. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's why I didn't get it, because I couldn't see how they were going to possibly support it for a whole season. Whatever that means.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Okay, all right. My number 9 is a game called Fiskal Clif on the Xbox 360. It's an indie game, Fiskal, Clif with one F. I don't know why I'm bothering to spell it, because I don't think anyone will search for it. The beginning's interesting. It's a cartoon. It's a board meeting, and they're arguing over how to make the best American car, make it too big, make it small. They're all arguing, and I thought, this is pretty weird. And then, primarily because the head, I think the head of the board is a cat in a tracksuit. But then something happens and they accidentally only buy they make one prototype and spend all their money on it, so they decide the only way to get our money back is to do a publicity stunt, which involves taking the car on the most perilous trip of all time. It's one of those, it's a game in which you can only press up and down and accelerate, and the cars...
I feel like I'm in a dream. What the hell are you talking about?
Imagine if you're looking down on the top of a car and it's going from left to right, and you can only move up and down, and you're collecting dollars that are strewn in the road, which are the dollars that you're making from doing this publicity stuff. You're literally only pressing up and down. The primary gameplay is you can accelerate and you get more money because there's a timer counting down. I'm really over explaining this because it's literally, do you know before video games existed, they used to have those physical, like I remember a relative of mine had like the front half of a Ferrari, and you had a little steering wheel inside it, and you'd pilot a little bit of plastic that had to avoid plastic trees as it sort of rolled round.
The hell sort of relatives did you have with half Ferraris?
No, the little, it's like a little half, it's like the bonnet, or maybe it's a Porsche, I don't know. It's the front of a car, and then there's a tiny little steering wheel.
It's a small toy version.
Yeah. You look into it, and you're piloting this. It's like a video game, but it was physical. It was bits of plastic that you were steering around. You must remember that stuff.
Not really, no.
Okay, all right, maybe it's just me. But anyway, it's like that. It's the most simple thing in the world. And the best thing's the opening where you see the cat in the tracksuit. You're collecting coins. I don't know why I'm still talking about it. Oh, one thing. Have you ever played a game, whether it's a driving game or whatever, where it goes so fast that visually it instantaneously gives you a headache?
Almost every game, yeah.
Forget them and play Fiskal Clif and accelerate, because I'm telling you, it's like just drill bits going straight into your pupils.
Oh, sign me up.
Yeah, okay.
Actually, I do want to see that cat, so... Yeah, I might take the plunge.
All right, yeah, Fiskal Clif, check it out, Game of the Year.
That blew my mind a little bit. Right, where are we? Number 8. I played that Call of Juarez Gunslinger.
Oh yeah.
And it seemed pretty cool.
Yes, it's higher up on my list.
All right, do you want to wait till then?
Yeah, let's hold off.
All right.
Okay, my number 8 is Fire Emblem Awakening on the 3DS. Not the physical one. Yeah, no, it's not the. I haven't played the actual game. That's still sat in my DS. Sean from Joypad tweeted me saying you're an idiot because there is a demo on the market on the App Store. What the fuck is it called?
eShop.
And because I said last week that there wasn't, and there should be, and he's totally right. I am an idiot. I don't know how I missed it either. It's front and centre of the eShop, and anyway, I am a moron. But I downloaded it just to see if it really was as sort of perfect a tool to get people hooked as I thought, and I'm not really sure it is. I mean, it takes the first 2 scenarios, which are very brief and very easy, and you do get to see how nice it looks and stuff. But I as somebody who's already started playing it, I kind of got to the end of the demo. I was like, it didn't really give me a feel of what was going on. I mean, I think the opening of the game is kind of ridiculously easy already.
Why on earth did you do that instead of just continuing with the game?
I just wanted to see, because I remember feeling like they need to put a demo of this out, and I guarantee that anyone who plays it will know what's going on, and I wanted to see if it was that good at all, and it's not really, because it needs to be a little bit more of it. I mean, you can do it in 5-10 minutes, and I don't think that's enough to really get people to understand what the game is.
Yeah.
But observations of the game as a whole, I really like the fact that you don't have to physically end your turn. So when in all previous Advance Wars and Fire Emblem games, once you'd used all of your moves for each character, occasionally you'd have to scramble around the map seeing if you'd forgotten a character and it's somewhere and not used it, rather than it just ending your turn, because you can't do anything anyway. But it does that now, and I like the fact that you could fast forward through the actual fight sequences. That's quite cool, because all of those games, the first 3/4 of the time you're playing it, you're like, I want to watch those, and then they get boring. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. It's nice. Anyway, I can't wait to play the game proper.
Yeah, weirdo.
Yeah.
Right, my number 7 is Little Inferno. Did you ever play this? This was on the Wii U, wasn't it?
Yeah, and iOS as well. Yeah.
Yeah. It's part of the humble indie bundle that comes out every now and then.
Yeah.
The current one has this, Dear Esther, Thomas Was Alone, Hotline Miami. What else has it got? A game called Capsize, which I didn't get a chance to play, and that Awesome Noughts game I didn't get a chance to play either. But you can pay what you want for all of that. It's fucking insane.
Yeah, Christ.
So, so I got it, and the only one I've had a chance to play is Little Inferno, which I think was £12 on Wii U, and I'm glad I didn't pay £12 for it. But for the nominal fee that I paid for it this time, it seems really cool. It is just burning stuff in a fire. You burn stuff, coins come out of it. You buy more stuff from this catalogue, you burn that. Sometimes they combo together, weird things happen. It's a novelty. There's a kind of narrative thread running through it. You're in like a letter conversation with this crazy girl. I haven't played enough of it yet. I'm hoping that it's saved and I don't have to start it again, but even if I do, I didn't play that much. It's satisfying to burn the things. It's really nicely done. It seems funny, and it's got a similar sort of sense of humour to World of Goo because it's from the same people. But yeah, definitely glad I didn't pay £12 for it. But which I kind of knew at the time. A couple of quid, yeah. But £12, I'd be gutted, even on a brand new console. But as part of the deal was absolutely ridiculous. I've got half the games already, and it was still well worth doing. It was worth doing just to get this, I think. But
well, I mean, when it say you can you pay 1p?
I don't know. I think it might be a quid or $1 or something is the least you can pay.
Okay. But
that's nothing. And if you pay above the average or what everyone's paying, then you get extra games. I think that's how you get Hotline Miami. I think that's currently $5.16 or something. So if you pay above that, you get Hotline Miami and another game that I forgot what it is. But amazing deal, truly.
Yeah, they need to start doing stuff like this on consoles. I'm starting to lose patience, especially with all this stuff that's coming up about DRM.
I know. Yeah, this is all DRM free as well.
Yeah, so, I know. Fuck.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of the reason that I like gaming on PC and Mac, stuff like this, because I mean, I could play these games on my Mac as well, I'm sure. I don't think they're too intensive graphically. Yeah. And Steam is just, and this Humble thing and the good old games, all that stuff, they're awesome compared to the Xbox Live Marketplace and things, especially and the eShop.
Okay, all right. So I mean, I think Dave Turner talked about this. And there was some weird bit where you have to burn a school bus full of children. Or something.
Yeah. I just did that just before we started recording. In fact, which is quite
unsettling, or something.
Well, yeah. I mean, I found it funny, to be honest, but in a very black way.
Okay.
They just start screaming, and then it slides into the wall, and just there's this huge explosion that goes into slow motion. You're like, oh, that was really, really dark. But yeah, I wouldn't say it didn't disturb me. But
okay.
Yeah, I'm weird.
Yes, no doubt. Okay, my number 7 is a game called Avatar Mayhem on the Xbox 360.
Every time you say Avatar, I always think it's going to be from the film.
Unfortunately not. Well, no, this is better every time.
Yeah.
This is a mixture, a weird hybrid of 3 types of very popular Xbox Live indie game. It's a game with avatars at the forefront. It's kind of a sort of stadium multiplayer shooter, and it's kind of a Minecraft ripoff. It's unclear a lot of the time what you're... In fact, I'm not 100% sure the whole game makes a whole lot of sense. It's 80 Microsoft points, and that's not an unpleasant price. It's not an unpleasant experience, but basically there's 2 modes. City defense and sandbox. Sandbox mode, you build all these buildings, and all you can do is build skyscrapers, or you can throw projectiles. So you have like a Molotov cocktail, a bomb, and that's basically it. So the sandbox mode is basically you build buildings or you destroy them. There's nothing extra to it. That's basically, you can have other people in your game, up to 8, I think. But I didn't try anything like that. I didn't play any multiplayer. And then the other mode is city defense, where you can build buildings or go and shoot people that are attacking your buildings. The problem with shooting is that the controls are really, really fidgety. You can't lock on. So if you're trying to hit someone who's directly in front of you, you just end up hurling projectiles left and right at them. It's all a little bit of a mess. It's a weird game. I mean, you can't do anything aside from build very, very nondescript skyscrapers. So it's not like Minecraft where you're going to see these amazing constructions. It's just from top to bottom a rectangle. You can fly around in a jetpack and stuff. It's weird. It wasn't an unpleasant experience, as I said, and it seems quite that there's somebody out there who's going to absolutely love it, I think. I mean, it's scrappy but it's 80 Microsoft points. It's ambitious, I suppose. It's weird. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore.
What's it called again?
Avatar Mayhem.
Mayhem.
The cover touts it as being a sort of stadium shooter, but it's all based around these buildings you build and you throw things. I don't know. It's all a little bit goddamn weird.
Yeah, that sounds pretty weird. I like the name though. Avatar Mayhem.
Genuine.
Yeah. Still, every time I think of those blue guys from the film. My number 6 is a game called Gunpoint. This is the second game that Paul Walker recommended to me, and I was actually going to get this game anyway. Yeah, Gunpoint it's called. Now, this is a game that's been made over the last 3 years by, I don't know if he's the editor or writer or deputy editor. I'm going to say editor, but I'm not sure, so apologies here. That of PC Gamer magazine, a chap called Tom Francis. He's been making this game in his spare time, and it's actually coming out on Monday, but he's released the demo this week. Now, it's kind of hard to explain what it is. It's a 2D semi-stealth, semi-puzzle game where you play as a little like private detective. He can jump really, really high you hold the mouse button down and a little curve comes up like a golf game almost. You can fire him off and jump on things. That's one mechanic. The second mechanic, which is the main mechanic, is you can flip your mouse wheel, basically press a button, and the whole 2D level changes, and you can see wires in between all the electrical stuff in the level, and you can rewire the level. Now, have you ever seen a Little Big Planet level being made?
Yes, I have, yeah.
Like you get a switch in that, don't you? And you have to physically wire it to the thing that you want it to work.
Yeah, right.
So that's how this is. So there's an example. You're basically trying to break in to a building. There's guards. If the guards see you, that you're instantly dead. They just shoot you on sight. And you're trying to get to hack a terminal behind a guard, basically. So, excuse me. There's lights in the room. There's light switches. If the lights go off, then the guard will go and try and press the light switch to see what's going on. So you can go into this mode, unhook the wire from the light switch. You can do this remotely from anywhere in the level, and then say attach that to something else so the light will go off, and then you could say rewire the electric door to that light switch. So the light will go off, he'll go, what's going on? Go up to the light switch to go and press it, but now you rewired it to a door, and the door will open, knock him out, and you can get past him. It's a really, really, really clever game. It's way more simple than I've made it sound. It's a game that you need to see and play, really. It's not difficult at all. As I've said many times, I am stupid, so I struggle with anything too complicated in terms of puzzle or stealth or strategy or anything like that, and this didn't tax me at all. Well, it taxed me in a really satisfying, clever way. Even it's a 5-level demo. I'm definitely going to buy it. Really cool. It's also like really well written, which isn't a surprise considering his background, and there's like dialogue trees between the levels. It has cool music, kind of like classic private detective kind of sleuthy music, and really stylish and just very, very cool. Very cool game.
I take it it's coming out only on PC?
It is only coming out on PC, unfortunately, yeah. If it does well, I'd imagine it'll start appearing other places. But one of the smartest games I've played in a long time, and it's rare to see something genuinely original that you've not seen before. Even in cool indie games, it's normally stuff like you've seen done elsewhere, like Thomas's Alone's a really cool game, but it is a 2D platformer. I've never seen this type of mechanic. I can't ever remember seeing anything like this. There's stuff where you've played around with wiring a little bit, but not as directly as this. And I can imagine later on you can start hooking together some really clever ideas. And also, it doesn't seem like there's one solution to every scenario, because I was experimenting a little bit and different things were happening, and very cool, very, very cool. So yeah, awesome work, man. It's like inspiring that this guy's just just like your eyes been a games journalist, and he's just sat there for 3 years in his own time making a really complete game that I'm sure will do very well.
Fair play. Okay, but what are you looking at? Are you looking at it side on? What's the perspective?
Yeah. So, like I said, it's really hard to explain with words, especially if you can't see it. it's completely 2D side on. You're seeing say like Mark of the Ninja, but pulled back. Yeah, pulled back so you can see the whole building, see every floor, and your man's really small. And then when you go to the wiring mode, you literally roll your mouse wheel quickly, and the colour scheme changes, the music changes, and suddenly you can see all these really simple things, like a light switch has a big block around it and a line that goes to the light, and you can hover your mouse over it, get that line and drag it to something else. And security cameras are there, they've got things, the little hand scanners for the doors, they've got wires. Anything electrical in there has a wire that you can just fiddle with. It's a really complex idea, but it's executed really, really simply by someone who's obviously played a hell of a lot of games and understands, UI and things like that really well. Fair play to him. I'm really happy that he's made such a great game. Potentially, anyway, from the demo. I mean, it may fall apart, but I'm sure it won't. It seems very, very good.
Is it going to be available on Mac as well, or just PC?
At the moment, it's just PC according to his website. I can't see why it wouldn't end up on Mac at some point, but I think it's made in that Game Maker, which is the same thing that Hotline Miami was made in, and that's not a Mac thing. So I think he'd have to do like a port, like they did with Hotline.
Okay.
But it comes out on Monday. I think it's going to be £6 or something like that. You see, this is what I love about this kind of world, because that's brilliant. And for that price, and you get the story behind it as well, so you want to support it, as opposed to just kind of everything on Xbox. Even if they have those stories, they're kind of faceless on there. But in order to get this demo, I had to go to the site of the game where there's a story, there's a video of him narrating how to do it. It's just more personal.
Yeah. That sounds really, really interesting.
It's a fucking cool game, man.
Yeah.
I'll show you, because Chet's coming to visit John's house this weekend, so I'll show you.
Yes, indeed, I am. Cool, okay. All right, my number 6 is a game called Bridgy Jones on iOS.
Yep.
Yeah. Have you played this?
No, but we got the email from our very nice friend at Chillingo, didn't we? So I saw the name of the game.
Indeed. I mean, that guy who keeps naming these games is really earning his money, because Bridgy Jones.
Jones, yeah.
The title has in a way as little to do with the game as the cutscenes do. Basically, the main character in the game is a big fat, I suppose you'd call him a good old boy, a massive grey beard. He looks like the prospector from Toy Story.
Oh, right, yeah.
And he's got a cross-eyed dog, and the opening cutscene is his dog falling in love with a chicken, and then the prospector running out, stopping the van, getting the chicken out, and then eating it, which is just completely. I was like, I like that, but I don't know what the hell this has to do with the game.
You've been watching some weird cutscenes this week.
Yeah, I know, no doubt about it. But it's actually a really, really slick game. I haven't played it that much, and I'll talk about it more next week. It's actually a really slick and appealing game. I was going to liken it to something, but I can't remember what that game was. It does have an element of World of Goo to it.
Right.
You're fat guys in a train, and you have to build the bridge to get across a ravine, whether that be by smashing debris that's already there and then building it. You just basically have to get the foundations right. So it's very like World of Goo in that sense.
Okay.
The speed with which you build it, and the less amount of pieces and sort of structural bits that you use to build it up, that is what results in you getting 3 gold stars. I mean, it does fall back on the same format that you have to get 3 gold stars and then you progress and whatnot. But it's really satisfying. It's got that Chillingo again. Chillingo make very, very specific looking games, to the point where I think it kind of defines iOS, or I should say the other way around. I think to most people that's what iOS games look like. Very, very clean and sort of how would you? I don't know. I've described it in the past. I can't remember what words I used, but
I know what you mean though. Like clean, like strong colours.
Yeah, it kind
very
of
high, very sharp, pin sharp.
Yeah, but in a way, it kind of makes
a little sterile at the same time.
Yeah, you feel like it doesn't have so much personality as the game itself does. But anyway, I've done the first sort of 10 or so levels. It's really good. It doesn't start out easy either. It's really genuinely challenging, which made it just all the more engaging because I wasn't having to piss around just doing levels where you build the bridge straight away. And in between, you do really cool things. Like there's one bit where you have to build a jump, and then you have to set a high score on flying this train over this ravine, and just crashing it into the floor. It's just a really nice package so far. There aren't massive calls for money like there were in the game I spoke about last week, Dead Ahead, which I thought was way overboard. This is not out until next week. And I think it will probably be 69p. I'm not 100% sure on that. But it's really good. I'll talk about it more next week because I'm definitely going to play some more of it. Really slick and just really nice, intuitive, fun, good.
Cool. Yeah, that does sound fun and a cool name. Bridgy Jones. My number 5, I haven't put numbers on my page this week, apologies, is also an iOS game. It's called Stickits. And I heard about this today. Suddenly appeared on Eurogamer, where Christian, who I have to say, Christian Donlan won the big prize for games journalism prize thing. So congratulations to him. Awesome, obviously. He reviewed this game, Stickits, 9 out of 10 on Eurogamer. Whenever he reviews a game and gives it a high score, I tend to go and check it out, especially if it's only going to cost me a couple of quid, which is what this did. Oh, it's so hard to describe puzzle games. It's it's a puzzle game, so on iOS it costs 2 quid. It's simple, but hard to master, classic puzzle game thing. Right, I'm going to quickly try and explain it, but it's difficult. A flat grid. You have, on the bottom, choice of 4 blocks. They're all made out of 3 squares and shaped in a, L, as much of an L as 3 squares can make, right? A corner, basically. Yeah. Each shape has 3 different colours. The 3 squares are made of 3 different colours: yellow, blue and red. You put them on the grid and you're trying to make groups of 3 or more. When you make them, you can press that on the grid and it will disappear. The aim of the game being to lay as many pieces on the grid as possible to get the high score until you can't lay any more because there's no opportunity to get 3 of the same colour and press it to make it disappear. Does that make sense? I think I did all right then.
Kind of, yeah, I think so.
It's very good. It's very, very good. I think Chris likes this style of game a little more than I do, but I still killed a lot of time today playing it, and it's weird because first game I think I got 12, second game 13, third game 85. Fourth game, 16. Fifth game, 13. I don't know how the fuck I managed to do that. I've not got anywhere near that since. I've got in the 40s a couple of times. But, it kind of has that thing that sometimes puzzle games get where you get into a false sense of security where you start thinking, this is easy, I could just do this forever. And then you immediately just fuck yourself over. And it makes you feel smart and stupid at the same time. It has some really nice minimalist music and sound effects when you play. I actually turned the sound off because I thought the sound didn't affect the game at all, and actually ended up turning it back on because they actually done a nice job. Kind of suits the mood of the game. And it's definitely going to be a game that I can see me putting on a lot, just because it's fairly chilled. There's nothing. It's not against the clock or anything like that. So there is a mode against the clock, which I just tried, which seems cool as well. But it seems like one of those modes that you don't end up playing as much as the main one. And I'll be interested to see what people who've been playing it a lot, the kind of scores they've been getting, because I could see you getting an absolutely massive score if you keep your wits about you. It's the type of game where you make one mistake and you're fucked, but if you really play it smart from the beginning, you could pretty much go forever. It seems to be there's always an option when the new squares come up. But it's cool. It's a cool game.
Who made it?
Oh, I don't know. I think my brain thought Christian made it, but obviously he didn't.
Yeah, it'd be a bit cheeky if he gave himself 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
What was it called?
It's called Stickits, like tickets with an S.
Okay. And I assume it's brand new.
It came out today, which is Thursday the 30th.
I'm going to look into that. Or I'll play it around your gaff tomorrow.
Yeah, have a go. Yeah, it's cool. It is £2, which I know is a bit steep for an iOS game generally, but 9 out of 10 on EG. I took the plunge.
For reals. For wheels. All right, okay. My number 5 is Project X Zone on the Nintendo 3DS. I played the demo. Have you heard of this?
I heard the name, or maybe I read the name on Twitter or something like that.
Yeah, I hadn't heard anything about it. It's a complete surprise. The demo's on 3DS now. If you have a 3DS, download it. I'm so excited about this now. So excited. On the back of the demo, I cannot wait for this.
What is it?
It's a collaboration between, I think it was Sega and Capcom. In fact, I'm sure it's Sega and Capcom. What it is basically Advance Wars stroke Fire Emblem, but but the fights are interactive. That's basically it. It blew me away. I played the demo from beginning to end twice. To be honest, it's impressed me more than Fire Emblem has, and I'm madly in love with that already. But it's the coolest thing about it is that you have to have the whole time. Basically, the first time I played it, I got down to the wire against my last character versus the bad guy's last character, and I lost just because you have to have an overview of the whole battle. And the interactive bits where you have, in Advance Wars and Fire Emblem, you just watch a fight happen, and that's that. In this, you have specials you can use, and you have super moves, and different characters have different effects on certain characters and stuff like that. It's just, and some of the super moves are absolutely stunning. There's a bit where it sort of moves screens, and then it sort of pops out into full anime, and it's like, wow, it looks so cool. And it's just a bit more engaging. I mean, I love those games, but when you just kind of sit there and a lot of the time you know exactly how it's going to play out. You know what the stats are and all that stuff. Here, you can actually manipulate that, and that's really, really exciting. The one thing about the thing that this reminded me more of Advance Wars, because something about Fire Emblem, I think it's going to take me a little while, because it always has done in the past, to get used to what characters are good at what. Because in Advance Wars, it's so easy. There's your little infantry guy, there's the guy with the rocket launcher, and he's less powerful than the tank, he's less powerful than the big tank and the long tank that's got the range. I could look at a still image of an Advance Wars and I would know exactly what to do. Whereas, and it's the same with Project X Zone, because it's all Sega characters and Capcom characters, so there's Ryu and Ken are like a double act.
Wicked.
Who else was it? There's loads of characters that you've seen. But who else did I see? Tralala, isn't it? From Tralala, the prostitute from Last Exit to Brooklyn. No, the Oolala.
Oolala.
That's right. There's loads of characters. Some of them are just probably a little too obscure, and the cutscenes are a little bit. You get the sense that they're pandering to sort of long-term fans of franchises that probably I may not have even played. But the gameplay is so satisfying, and it's just, like I said, the first time I played it, I lost. The second time, I won, because you have to have an overview of the entire battlefield in the same way that you do with Advance Wars. You have to think about what characters do what. And like I said, I've never had that with Fire Emblem. And I still don't think I know who would be the best character to send, but I think that has something to do with I know all the Project X Zone. I'm like, right, I'll remember that Ryu and Ken are good for that, and so and so. Blah, blah, blah. Whereas anything that's vaguely Tolkien inflected, like Fire Emblem, anything that vaguely has that kind of atmosphere, whenever I see anything like that, a little bulb in my brain just goes out, and I just stop paying attention.
Yeah, I'm the same. Which is why I never played Fire Emblem before this one.
Yeah, it does pass. It just takes too long.
Yeah.
But that is literally... I mean, like, when The Hobbit came out of the cinema, it was like, what did you do? I went to go see The Hobbit. Oh, great. So I bet that was amazing. No, I bet you'd really like it. Why would I really like it? Because I think... and I just stopped listening. So that's why when I'm trying to pay attention to what Fire Emblem characters do... Anyway, this is much more like Advance Wars. And I was completely blown away. Played it twice earlier today. If you have a 3DS, download the demo. When I saw it, I thought it was going to be another sort of mashup fighting game, and it's not. The fighting bits work really well. I mean, it's gripping, truly. If the full game lives up to this, oh boy, can't wait.
When's it out?
I think it's out in the beginning of the beginning of July.
Okay.
I think there's going to be another demo before it launches, or just after launch. But there is another demo coming according to the end of the game.
Sweet.
But oh man, it is looking so tidy. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm going to download that as soon as we finish the podcast, and then when I've forgotten to do that, I'm going to download it tomorrow morning when I wake up.
Yeah, nice one. And then when I get to your gaff and say, well, did you download it? You say, no, I'll make you download it. You know what I mean?
And then in 2 weeks I'll actually download it.
Yeah, nice one.
My number 5 is Dark Souls Prepare to Die edition on PC. Like I said last week, I'd heard about this fix, and I downloaded the fix and got my first taste of modding, which is way easier than I thought it was going to be. Basically, you just changed numbers in a text document. Fuck knows how it works, but I'm stupid. Anyway, it turned it into an unplayable broken mess into a pin-sharp, nice, smooth, 60 frames a second gleamer. I couldn't have it on the very high settings, but as I've learned to appreciate, I need to knock things down to about 80%, and then it's great. It still looks better than any of the console stuff. And I basically got to the exact place that I got to when I gave up on Dark Souls on Xbox. It's really hard. It's a really hard game.
Yeah, you can say that.
Again, I really like the atmosphere. I really like what it stands for. I do worry about the amount of time that it takes to get good at it and to understand it. At least, I mean, I got there a hell of a lot quicker than last time because I know what Dark Souls is and I know what to do. I knew where to go. I knew how to play it. So that cut a large number of hours out. But still, it's taken me a while. And, you fuck up and you die and you have to do it all again. I would like to get further than I got last time when I got into this dragon and then I fell off a ledge and then I just couldn't face it anymore. That was after about 12 hours. I think I could get there quite easily. But, you think it's the classic game where you get a little bit too cocky for a second and then, you get killed and then you have to do it again. But it's been such an interesting game to read about and to listen about over the last year and a half or something since it's been out. I've never known a game that has had such a fervent reaction from so many people in a game that doesn't necessarily have a classic story or characters or things like that. Stuff that people normally get attached to. And I do really want to, stick with it and at least have it there. And now I have it on the PC. It's just going to sit there, so I can always put it on whenever I fancy, which is cool. And it's clearly a very, very special game. Clearly, but it's all about balancing time, and I understand it. I mean, I kind of liken it to martial arts. The whole idea is that every time you die, it's not really a failure; it's a lesson. So even in death, you're learning more about the systems. But there's one thing that I can't hack about it, and someone might tell me I'm wrong, but you can't strafe. And the fundamental thing about all fighting in real life is lateral movement, right? So in a game that's all about the kind of minutiae of combat and getting animations and timing right and everything, the fact you can't strafe drives me fucking mad. And I understand that's just the game systems and that's fine. I don't expect them to change, and that could change everything. That could break the whole game. But for me, just why can't I sidestep?
I think part of the thing that I liked about that is that the best times I had with Dark Souls was using the environment, so finding something and you felt like you were cheating the game, but that's kind of how you're supposed to play it.
Yeah.
Just constantly sort of using the environment to sort of hide and then duck out and attack.
Yeah.
There was things that I remember they cut out of Demon Souls. Wasn't there you could do a combat roll and you were invincible for a second or something? All of the things that you relied on were taken away. So it's far more difficult than Demon Souls was. I can understand totally why people get obsessed with it, and I would be one of those people. But I think it's just some people get much more out of playing single player games for prolonged periods of time. Whereas I could be playing almost anything, and if someone said, "Do you want to play Battlefield?" I'd jump straight on. I'm more a multiplayer person. But yeah, a friend of mine's just recently rebought it, and I went around there and watched him play it for a little while. It's just wow, it's just. If I had an infinite amount of time, that would be one of my first ports of call to really, really get stuck in and just completely.
It's clearly so special, and genuinely unique apart from its predecessor. And the atmosphere just reminds me of Nightmare as well, which is my all-time favourite TV show. And it just does. It just kind of reminds me of that because that game, you remember Nightmare? That was fucking hard. They didn't give a shit. They just be killing kids left and right.
Yeah.
And Dark Souls just completely uncompromising. But yeah, I've got it here. I can switch on the computer at this desk and just have another go anytime I want. So hopefully I'll beat that big fucking monster on the bridge and then get past the bit where I fell off the ledge, and everything will be glorious.
Yeah, for real. Okay, my number 4 is Battlefield 3. I don't have much to say about it. I think for the first time ever the other day, we kind of all collectively just said, we were really up for gaming, but we all just said, let's turn it off. Because it's getting to the point where there's just some days where it's just wastelands of people who are ranked 100 and people who've never played it before, and it's just like, ugh, it's all just a little bit of a headache. It's still amazing, but finally, a year and a half down the line, it's starting to get tiresome.
But it's only a few months till the next one's out now.
Yeah.
So.
And next week I'll be going, oh my god, it's the best thing I've ever done.
Be.
Yeah, so there you go, whatever.
Baz.
Yeah.
Right, my number, where are we? 3? 4? 3?
Industries. Yeah.
My next game on my list is the last suggestion from Paul. Another game that I've been planning to play and kept forgetting. It's a game called Papers, Please. Sorry about the P's there. I don't have a P thing on my mic. That's probably annoying. Papers, Please. Now, this is a fucking cool game, and I played it for ages. It is, right. So, the game takes place in a made-up Soviet state, a newly formed Soviet state in 1982. You play as an immigration officer. It doesn't sound particularly appealing, this game. And the whole idea is people come up to your booth and you say, papers, please, and you look at their passport and things, and you work out whether they're allowed to come into this country or not. That sounds quite boring, but it's done brilliantly. The first day, you're just checking people's passports, and the only people that are allowed through are people from this new country. It begins with an A, like Godjistan or something. I can't quite remember what it's called. So they come up, you go, you get the passport that comes through, and then you can drag. It's a really nice user interface. You can drag it from this little 2D image on the left into your main desk, and then it sort of turns from a tiny little sprite into a big passport. So it's just a nice, satisfying piece of interface. And then you just do stuff like check their name is right, check they're from the right country, stamp through. Second day, they had to have like an ID with them as well, and then suddenly you have to start matching up whether their name is the same as on there, whether their date of birth is the same, all this sort of stuff. But then slowly, like, story elements start to creep in, and you really get a sense of like how fucking horrible it must be to have lived in that sort of life. You know, the life of whether it's the a sort of newly formed Soviet state, or the stuff that happened around Yugoslavia, or anything like that. You know, any sort of third world type situation with strong border controls and a highly militant and dictatorial government, anything like that. It does an amazing job with a very basic palette in kind of telling this kind of story. And as the story elements start to come in, like the classic example would be a man comes in, you clear him, and then just as he's going through, he says, "My wife's just behind me," and so the woman comes up, but she hasn't got the form that she needs to get through. So you can make a choice. You can let her through, and you'll be fined. And in between each day, you get like your salary, and you got a family to look after. They're just done in they get a little status report. They get sick and stuff, so you need to have enough money to pay for medicine, pay for heating, pay for food, that sort of stuff. If you get fined for messing up and letting the wrong person through or denying the wrong person, you'll get taken off your salary. So you've got that tension there. And so this woman's there, she hasn't got a thing, and you're like, well, you can interrogate her and you say, "Where's your paper?" "Oh, I forgot it." And then you're like, "You can't come through." And she's like, "But if I go back there, I'll be killed." And you just have this like, okay, well, what do I do? And just deny that's the right thing to do in terms of your job. And she's just like, "You've doomed me," and just walks off. Just this like sprite character. It's really fucking powerful, and it's still a beta at the moment. So unfortunately, I played it for a good long while, probably 2 hours, but you can't save it, and it's a linear story. It's not emergent. So if I was to play it again, I'd have to do everything I'd done again already, I think, which is a shame. But I'm hopefully it will turn into a proper game, and then maybe it'll become emergent and different things will happen. I don't know, but I'd recommend it to everyone to play. It's a really strangely compelling, fun, very bleak, very intelligent piece of work almost. It's tough to call it a game. It is a game, but it's just a really very interesting thing. Very, very good.
Yeah, that didn't sound boring for 1 second. As soon as you started talking about it, I was like, I'm all over it. Did you have to download it? So it's PC?
I think you can play it on Mac as well.
Wow, okay.
I'm not 100% sure on that though. But yeah, it's a small, very, very small download. It's like 12 meg or something, really small. But yeah, very, very. It's just really, really good. There's another game called Cart Life, which I've been dying to play, that I had on my old PC but didn't work on it for some reason. Which is it's a similarly minimalistic thing that tells the story of you play as a newsstand guy in New York, but you've come from another country and you've got nothing, and it's all about like the actual tension of what that life is and how poor you are and what every single tiny sale means to you as a person, and it's like won loads of awards and stuff. So yeah, I'm going to check that out next. But again, like I said, this is the place where the interesting stuff's happening. These indie games.
Yeah. I just need to bite the bullet and buy a PC, really. That's what it boils down to. But answer me this, right? You said that when you installed Dark Souls and when you were playing it, you've just bought a brand new shit-hot gaming PC.
I bought a very good gaming PC, yeah.
Oh, okay, because you said I can't put it up to 100%. I'm like, who can put it up to 100% if you
have to buy a fucking monster. But then I realised that 100% is just silly and you don't need 100%. At first, that's the obvious thing, especially from a console background. You're like, well, I want it as good as it should be. But I think I've learned when you say you come tomorrow and I show you what Metro looks like in 1080p on. I'll talk about that in a minute. Spoiler. On a 1080p TV on the PC, you'd be like, fucking hell, that looks ridiculous, and it can go a bit higher. It can look another level nicer, but I'd need to buy, I think, nearly a 400 quid graphics card or 500 quid just the card, then plus all the other shit to process it. You're talking about 1,500 quid for the PC just to get that next level. So what I have right now is more powerful in terms of sheer specs than the next gen of consoles, but they'll be better because they're more streamlined and whatever fucking technical shit, I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, it's a fucking powerful computer. I just had to get my head around it's a different way of gaming. But I'm getting my head around it now and I like it.
Yes, who wouldn't? I like the sound of it. Okay, my number 3 is Black Knight Sword on the Xbox 360.
No way.
Yeah,
how random.
Did you play this?
I played the
demo.
I played the demo, but then I remember you talked about it a few weeks ago and said you might go back to it. But
yeah, because I didn't think you would. It wasn't. I mean, I said when I see it in a sale, I'll buy it just to be a completist because I really do like Suda, and I despite my reservations about the demo, I thought I'd give it another shot. Did you? So you played the demo ages ago, right? When it first came out.
Pretty much. I think it might have been the week it came out or the week after. Yeah, for the same reason, because I'm a Suda fan.
But you didn't think much of it.
I thought it was weird and the gameplay wasn't that good, but I kind of the style weirded me out in a good way. And I think I ended up coming to the same conclusion. If I saw it super cheap, then I'd grab it. But for the price it was, I think I came to the same conclusion, but I just basically forgot it existed.
Yeah, to be honest, I did as well, but in last week's Xbox Live sale, or perhaps 2 weeks ago, it was half price, 600 points, so I just instantly bought it. I don't know how happy I am about that, because from what I've played about 2 hours of it. And I don't think it's a particularly long game, but all of the feelings I had based on the demo seem to they've prevailed throughout what I've played in addition. Right. It just feels like a game that was made on autopilot. I mean, for a game that looks as impressive as it does and as inventive and crazy as it does, it almost has no personality. It's something.
I know what you mean by that. Yeah.
The game, it looks great. I mean, Terry Gilliam's been cited by I think everybody who's played it. But back old school '60s office nut on LSD, Terry Gilliam. But the gameplay is just literally a sort of combination of ghouls and ghosts, a bit of platforming. The combat's kind of fucking button mashy and rubbish, and there's some switch puzzling, and it's all just a little bit ho-hum. It feels like a game that everyone made for the paycheck, and it's really weird because you look at it and you're like, I want to play that game, and when you play it, you're just kind of like, I don't know what, I wish I didn't have... I'm going to try... Do you know what? I don't even know if I'm going to attempt to finish it. It just plods along, and you play it. There's no invention. There's no spark. It's just kind of. It's just a game. Which is not in all of even if it's Lollipop Chainsaw, they can be derivative as hell, but there's always something that's new. And this couldn't feel any more fucking archaic and dull. It just kind of rote and monotonous and plodding. I mean, really is quite surprising. But then again, it's my own fault. I knew that based on the demo. And looking over reviews, everyone kind of says the same thing. So the writing was on the wall. I just bought it because I thought I had faith in it sort of doing something a little bit interesting, but it doesn't. It's just a really, really dull platformer with some ho-hum combat, but that looks amazing. So goddamn, yeah, disappointing as hell. I'm going to play it a little bit more, but it's also stupidly hard.
Yeah,
hard in one of those ways where you're like, and all of the achievements are like, do it without dying, do it without doing this. It is built solely for people who want to sort of punish themselves. I'm really underwhelmed. Massively underwhelmed.
No Shadows of the Damned.
No, hell no. God, I love Shadows of the Damned.
Yeah, that new one's out soon though, isn't it? Killer is Dead.
Yes, I can't wait.
Yeah, was it June or July?
Is it really?
Yeah, really soon. It's out really soon.
Oh wow, that's good shit.
Yeah, definitely. Talking of good shit, my number 2, I spoiled it already, is Metro Last Light.
Yeah.
I was actually struggled to get a chance to play it properly this week because of my number 1. Excuse me. But got a good chance to play it today and got a few more hours in. It's a really good game. It is a really good game. There's very little bad to say about it. It is not as oppressive, I said, as 2033, and I think the fact that the combat is streamlined does add to that lack of oppression. However, it is still oppressive. It feels like the world is against you, especially as it's starting to get harder now, which is good. I am, as you know, I have real problems with claustrophobia. So a game set in tube tunnels, which I fucking hate anyway, with a mechanic where you can't, you guys like, that I do struggle with that. That's a really effective tool for someone like me who has felt like that in tubes many times himself. All that kind of stuff is brilliant. As I said before, it looks amazing on PC. I'm sure it looks good on console as well. Their engine is excellent. The faces aren't so great, but like the lighting is first class, and the all the animation and stuff's brilliant. But what has impressed me most about Last Light, and this is what I said last week when it's continued, it's just so well paced. Every single time gameplay style starts to wear a little thin. Like the section I was on, there was quite a few kind of stealth rooms, one after another. They were good, but I felt like the game had maybe settled into a pattern where it was just going to be this for a long time. And the second I started to think that, I fucking switched up completely, and then I played a section where you're on a rail car, and you're dealing with fucking horrible monsters and stuff, and it couldn't have been more different, but it's still, everything fitted into the same style, the same story. I'm not 100% following the story, but you know when you don't exactly know what's happening in the story, but you can follow it enough anyway. That happens quite a lot in games. Yeah. And yeah, I think I'm just about to get outside again, and it's just really good. It's just a really, really good shooter. I likened it last week to, like a movie that you'd see on a plane that was just hit all the right notes and it was exactly what you wanted to watch at that time, but perhaps a few months down the line it's not something that's going to live that long in the memory. I think that maybe undersold it a little bit because it's still really fucking good, and it is starting to get its claws in a little bit more to me. I was hoping I would actually have been able to finish it this week, but I just didn't have enough time. But I don't really have a bad word to say about it. I know it's got 7s, and I know it's supposed to fall apart a little bit towards the end, so I will see. But and then 7's not a bad score, but you know how these things are with 7s. Most games get 8s that are of a certain budget, so when a game gets a 7, it's a bit of a shock. But it's just really fucking good. I don't really know what else to add. I'm glad it doesn't have multiplayer and any of that nonsense. It's just all about the experience. Yeah,
to be honest, I can't. That's a game that I'm really looking forward to playing. How near the end are you? Do you have any idea?
I don't know, because I thought I was closer to the middle than I actually. Oh my god, that's the worst sentence ever. I thought I was further along in the game than I am. It felt like I was getting to a point in the story which was going to head towards the final. Not the final run, but past the fucking hell. What the hell am I talking about?
Jesus,
absolute wrong. I don't know. It seems a decent length. Okay. Fucking hell, I hate myself.
Yeah, I'm sorry I asked. I met the guy, the writer of the original book, one of the most interesting and one of the nicest guys ever.
Dmitry Gurgu or something.
Yeah, he gave me a signed copy of the first book. Just like the fact he talked for about half an hour, and I was just like fascinating. Could have listened to him all night. I'm always meant to read that book, but I didn't. But anyway, yeah, I'm looking forward to playing that game big time. Okay, my number 2 is Dead Island Riptide on the Xbox.
Doing it.
We finished it.
Okay.
The ending is brilliantly shite. But then again, if it wasn't brilliantly shite, it wouldn't have been Dead Island. So it was completely consistent with the rest of the game. You get to this bit, you're about to get on a boat, and it comes up. It happens in loads of games. It happens in Far Cry. It's the traditional thing now. A message comes up saying you're now going to sort of the end, towards the end of the game. If you want to do anything, do side missions to get any collectibles, go and do it now, and then come back. So we're like, okay, we did everything we needed to do. We tooled up, we got ready, got on the boat, and triggered the final mission. It wasn't the final mission; it was the ending with the credits.
Oh,
yeah. So I was just like, "That's." I'm so happy that it ended on such a shit note, because if it had had a brilliant ending, it kind of would have been a bit disappointing, because everything about Riptide is brilliantly shite. And yeah, we laughed because it was just like, and the thing is, you can't come back. This is a point you can't come back to. You can just go back in and jump straight back in from the menu. It's just like, what? But yeah, it's. Nothing's changed. The whole game is completely consistent. It's really, really fun, really funny, and really entertaining, despite the simplicity of it and the scrappiness of it. At the end, a sequel is not so much hinted at as loudly shrieked excitedly in your face. So there'll definitely be another Dead Island, which was probably inevitable anyway. And one just completely pointless observation, but I really like another thing that's shit about it. In the first one, there's that rapper and he does that one song.
Yeah, he was my character. Yeah,
They kept playing that one song.
Yeah.
They keep playing the one song at the end, and when the credits roll, it's that song again. It's just like they have got no other music, so they keep playing that stupid "Hoodoo you voodoo bitch." Terrible. But I loved it. Dead Island Riptide. Grab a mate, buy it when it's on the cheap. It's fucking fun as hell.
Yeah, I won't, but yeah.
Oh, well, you should. It's good. Good shit.
Good on him. Good on him. They're making that other game, aren't they? That is the same. It's just another zombie game, but this time it's got parkour in it. Yeah, for Warner Brothers.
I've only seen screenshots, but I have every faith. Techland are top bizzle.
They are crazy polls. Right, my number 1 is a bit of a frustrating one, but I had to include it in the list because it basically dominated my entire week. It's The Last of Us on PS3.
What? You can't say anything, can you?
I can say, well, do you know what? Simon Miller on the Video Gamer podcast said a hell of a lot before embargo, so I'm going to follow his lead. Right, everyone knows what The Last of Us is. It's a new Naughty Dog game that's more about a surviving post-apocalyptic world rather than jumping about with Nate Drake. It's very, 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 very good. I won't say a lot more than that. I can talk about it next week, I believe, in detail. It is, man. This generation is ended very well. We've had DMC, which I thought was fucking amazing. Bioshock, which is really like moved me. Moved is the wrong word, but really affected me for a long time, and ended up reading about it for ages. I know GTA 5 is going to be amazing. I just, I've got every faith, with all good reasons, that that's going to be one of the games of all time. The Last of Us is in good company. I'll talk about it a lot more next week.
Okay, yeah, cool. I look forward to that. Actually, a game I'm going to talk about next week. This is more so than in previous generations, although there hasn't obviously been that many. I feel like developers are really starting to get a proper handle on the console hardware. So the games you see are just like as amazing as you think anything can look, and I think it's just a bit premature. Who's going to want to pay? I don't know if a lot of people, because it's not 2006 anymore. Are you going to have £400 or whatever they're going to charge? I mean, someone said. Someone took a pre-order for £600 or something.
Yeah, the Amazon. I think on Amazon it's 600, but I think that's a dodgy second hand, but like dodgy salesperson or whatever. Yeah. But I know what you mean. It is, there's going to be a good chunk of people who will do that, and obviously do it for professional reasons. But it's going to be tough, especially with the PC setting here. You know.
Yeah. But even current generation of console, the Xbox and the PS3 are still kicking out games that are amazing looking.
Yeah.
One of which I'll talk about next week. It's Remember Me. I don't know what I'm not saying. I won't say anything else about it. But there are bits of that game where you're just like, oh my god, I can't believe this is not running on a high-end PC or something from the next generation. I think when the current gen machines are kicking out visuals like that, why would you need to invest in it? It seems like a premature, but then again, everyone's looking for reasons why the fucking industry is collapsing. Blah blah blah. It's a whole thing. But talk about that. Talk about that game.
Last of Us looks fucking ridiculous.
I bet it does.
Doesn't look as good as Metro in terms of the resolution, but yeah, they're artists over there. But I don't want to talk anymore because I don't want to get in trubs. So yeah, that was my number one. So I know it's a bit shit, but I fucking played it for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. So it had to be my number one because that's the reason I haven't played anything else that much.
You should do what I do.
What's that?
Knock it off the list and then replace it with an X-Blig.
I haven't even turned my Xbox on.
You're missing out, boy. Fiskal Clif.
Yeah, I should have played Fiskal Clif.
Fiskal Clif. We should make a game. That's the kind of game we'd make, Fiskal Clif.
Oh, imagine the game we'd make. The first 3 minutes would be amazing, and then the rest of it would just be fucking code, and then it would break.
3 minutes is generous.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, my number one is the aforementioned Call of Juarez Gunslinger on the Xbox 360. You've done the trial, so what did you think?
So, the game, I'd heard about it for ages, and then for some reason, because it was I knew it was going to be a live arcade game, whatever, a smaller game. I thought it was going to end up be like a 2D game or something like that. So even when I saw screenshots, it kind of, I don't know, I wasn't paying attention at all. It was just drifting over my head. Also, the cartel was such a fucking horror show for me.
No, it wasn't.
For me, it was.
Okay.
That I couldn't really identify with anything Call of Juarez. But then I started reading this week on forums and people were raving about it, and I was like, fuck it, I'll get the trial. The demo's on Steam, so I got it on PC, and it's fucking great. I could tell straight away that it was great. It just reminded me of Bulletstorm. It felt great to shoot the guys. It looks really nice, but cuts corners in a way that would be a little bit offensive if you paid 50, 40 quid, whatever for it. But when you've paid nothing, or not nothing but a small amount of money for it, you don't mind any of that sort of stuff. And even the acting and the story it was telling, because it seems to be all done in voiceover. Is that right? Yeah, with a sort of constant narration going on, and it was doing some stuff where it's like something happened. He's like, no, it's not like that.
Yeah.
That was really cool. And then there was a duel. I just thought this is great. I'm definitely going to get it. I just I needed to play more my one, and I wanted to finish Metro first just to make sure I finished it. But I'm definitely tell me, should I get it?
Buy it. It's I finished it earlier today. It's Ubisoft continue to impress me. I mean, I know that we have to put most of the praise at Techland's feet, because Techland, I'm such a fan of Techland. We've spoken about it a million times. I always have been. I like it even this, but it is really good looking, and this is as polished and as slick as Dead Island is scrappy and rubbish. The story is actually really good. In a strange way, it's kind of like Assassin's Creed in that it just throws all of these people, like Butch Cassidy's in it, Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, Harvey Logan, Jesse James, and some of it takes place in the aftermath of the Great Train Robbery, and there's all this stuff. And it's really cool because that device of having an unreliable narrator goes throughout the whole thing, and it really works. There's bits where he says things, and then they'll ask him to correct himself. They say that's bullshit, and then he'll go back and go, oh yeah, I remember, and then it'll take you back through it. There's a bit where the person he's talking to falls asleep, so he just says, hey, then there was gunfire, it wakes him up, and then he quizzes him, and then they go back, and when he describes things happening, sometimes scenery just appears in to sort of along with the story. It's really ambitious for something that's a downloadable game also, and there are moments where it looks really, really like something that you'd pay 40 quid for. I'm never going to talk badly about the Chrome engine ever again, because maybe it just took Techland this long to really, really get to grips with it. But if you're playing a score attack or a time attack, any kind of shooter like this, you need to be able to execute everything with precision, and you can. Yeah. The shooting feels absolutely phenomenal. There's no annoying bits where scenery gets in the way. There's no bits where you pull off headshots that aren't headshots. It feels so clean and crisp, and as satisfying.
Yeah, I definitely felt that just from the short amount that I played. It really clean and crisp. The shooting.
as satisfying just to play as any shooter I could probably mention. And some of the systems, again, it's like most Techland games. There are some really neat ideas in there. The sense of death gauge thing that every so often someone will come out and shoot you, and you've got a split second to either pull left or right, and it only is you have to just look at the screen. And so it sounds like the kind of thing that would become annoying.
Is that the bullet dodge thing?
Yeah, you can either go left or right, and that's it.
Right.
And it's at first you really have to study where the bullet's going, but you've got a second to react. But when that happens in the flow of battle and there's all sorts of shit going on, it's actually really cool, and you feel like an absolute badass running through and sort of dodging bullets and stuff. The Mexican standoffs are good. That's never something that's properly worked. One hand, you control one hand with one stick, and you have to keep a hand as near to the gun as possible, and then a percentage meter goes up, and then your other thumbstick, you place a sort of target on the character, and he moves around, and you basically have to try and get as close to 100% as you can, and then you can draw first and then just shoot him dishonourably. But the idea is to wait until he draws first and then get both meters up to as close to 100%. It's really satisfying. It's like Far Cry Blood Dragon. It's the perfect amount of game for the price they're asking for it. But the meat of it, really, and the thing that I really responded to, which reminded me of the Club and Bulletstorm, is the arcade mode where you take scenarios, they pack a load of people, and then you have to keep your multiplier going.
Oh, nice!
Horrendously addictive. That's where I'm going to be spending the rest of my time with it, because I finished the campaign. I will do the campaign again, and there's things like collectibles and stuff that make you want to return to it. But the campaign, the story is just really fun, and the way it toys with its own sort of format is really, really clever. It's so much more than you expect it would be, and the word of mouth is like completely deserved. I'm surprised it has had some sort of the critical reaction has been a little bit mixed. And I don't quite understand that. Playing it today, it's as addictive as Trials when you're trying to beat someone's score. I've only got one friend who's got it, but I hope that more people do.
That's why I feel like I should get it on Xbox just for that reason. I wish I could. I wish you could battle across systems in terms of scores. But
yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
But it's as addictive as Trials is, and it's so satisfying. It's just one of those games that's so satisfying to play. They've worked out every angle, even when you're running through the campaign, and it's not just a corridor. There are loads of little sort of side routes and stuff, and you can do some really cool sort of stuff. And then there's the bullet time thing. What do they call it? It's I can't remember.
I can't remember. Yeah, but yeah.
It's basically bullet time, and it's
focus. I don't know.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's some shit like that.
Concentration. It's concentration, isn't it?
I think maybe it is actually. Yeah. And that's just it. When you're sort of pulling off headshots in that mode, it's the most satisfying thing in the world. The level up system's neat. You can either sort of pick to be up close with shotgunny type, or you can have the pistols, or you can sort of mix and match, and that's really cool. You can sort of make the multiplier last longer, or you can be better from a distance, or you can pull off faster automatic headshots if you're all of these cool little things that you can sort of pick and mix. At the end of the day, it's not an original game. There are QTEs galore. There are breach sequences galore. There are gun turret set pieces up the arse. I mean, it doesn't, in a way, it doesn't do anything more than's asked of it. But it does everything with flair and panache. And for all of its imperfections, I mean, towards the final third, there are a host of bits where a guy will come out, and the only way you can know to kill him is to have died previously by him. You know, there's spikes at the end, which are just like, what? Come on, guys, Jesus. But it's just an absolutely belting shooter, and for 1,200 Microsoft points, you are laughing, or whatever that is. That's 10 quid or so. It's absolutely fantastic. It's up there with Far Cry Blood Dragon. I enjoyed them as much as each other, and yeah, Ubisoft just like they're ahead of the fucking curve. I don't know. This is their franchise, obviously.
But they definitely are. They seem to be nailing this. We talked about it in the early days of the podcast with I'm Alive, which is actually Ubisoft, and Alan Wake's American Nightmare. These smaller AAA style games that are cheaper and more condensed. And that, for the way I play games these days as well, I don't want every game to be a sprawling 20-hour, 40-hour epic. It's so nice to play something that lasts 5 hours, is really, really well made, and then you're done. But this sounds like it's even better than that.
It is. I mean, I felt if it was just the campaign, it's worth the money anyway.
Yeah.
Initially, when I spoke to you, I remember I said I played the trial, it was amazing, but I'm going to wait. I'm a bit skint. I could wait until it's cheap. And then you were like, it's Techland. I was like, no, it's not. And then I realised it's Techland, and I do just want to support Techland because I'm the only person that didn't hate Call of Juarez the Gazelle, but it's for the same reasons as this. There are so many cool ideas in it. It's impossible. I mean, this is light years ahead in terms of just the quality and the sort of, because that was a scrappy. It made Dead Island look like fucking Naughty Dog production. Yeah. But yeah, I'm as concerned as everyone is about the lack of pre-owned, because going in and trading in a game is a necessary. If you're not really really wealthy, you have to do that sometimes. Yeah. But this and Blood Dragon, I've never felt. I've got my money's worth, and I don't. And the fact that this arcade mode is going to live on for probably a frightening amount of time, especially if other people pick it up, it's really really terrific. I mean, properly good. Yeah,
I'm definitely going to get it. Definitely. When you come down, I'll show you the trial on PC and tell me if it's worth it. Say it looks like twice as good, I'll get it on PC. But if it's not that much better, then I'll grab the Xbox One and battle all you motherfuckers.
I'm definitely going to say that it's better on the Xbox.
Yeah, of course you are, because it benefits you selfish bastard.
Yeah,
sweet, yeah. That's fucking cool out of nowhere.
Yeah, really.
Cool. All right, that's it. That's it, isn't it?
That's it.
Episode 65 in a can. Check out the Twitters at John Denton, at Chet Roivas, at Chet and Johns. Check out the Facebook if you want. Check out our website, don't bother. Check out the YouTube, Chet and Johns. Watch Chet's Week in Batters. I'm not even joking. It's nothing to do with me. Just watch it. It's funny. And we will see you next week for Last of Us, Remember Me, and some other fucking video games.
Genuine. Take it easy. Goodbye.
Bye. Thank you for listening.
Douchebags.